Did anyone else remember Buggy the Clown was a warlord? Hey guys, welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm your host Shinry. Here at Everything Anime Podcast, we talk about everything from anime, mangas, video games, TV shows, on a relevant topic we're talking about. Today's topic is, of course, ranking every One Piece movie ever, and today's movie is 3D2Y. Now, if you haven't watched the previous videos, the way we do our ranking videos is different than anything else. We don't do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We don't do best to worst. We use characters from the One Piece anime, put them in our own tier list, and tell you how we're going to rank them. So the way we do it is, on our tier list, at the top, we have God Usopp tier. God Usopp tier is a must-watch. It means you have to watch it. You have to get your friends to watch it. You have to get people that don't even like One Piece to watch it. The reason why is because they're going to love it. A God tier Usopp movie means you're going to watch it repeatedly. You're going to watch it over and over and over again. You never get tired of it. The Buggy the Clown tier, you're going to watch it casually. You love it. And all anime One Piece fans are going to love it. You're going to like it a lot. Let me say that, not love it. You're going to like it a lot. But people that don't watch One Piece, they'll be like, that was okay. I don't know if it'll give me no One Piece, but it was definitely interesting. I definitely enjoyed it. After that, we have Monkey D. Luffy tier. Monkey D. Luffy tier means you're going to watch it once in a while. Like, it's a great movie. Non-One Piece fans are going to just, be like, that was okay. I don't think I'm going to watch this anime or manga still. But it's something you watch like once a year. You watch it like every now and then, not as often as like God Usopp tier where you're watching it all the time, maybe even daily. Not Buggy the Clown tier where you watch it fondly, like maybe not daily, but you watch it like every now and then, like every other week. Monkey D. Luffy tier is kind of like, I'll watch it now, and then maybe a year from now I'll watch it again. After that, we have, I believe it is Kobe tier. Kobe tier is you watch it if it's on. You're not going to go out of your way to watch the movie. If it's on TV, you'll sit down and watch it, and you'll enjoy it. But you're not going to go out of your way to record it. You're not going to go out of your way to, like, go see it or nothing like that. Like, if your friend wants to watch it, you're like, I'll watch it. And then after that, we have Captain Curl tier. Captain Curl tier is like background noise. You watch it in the background. You're not really paying attention to the movie. You know what happens. You don't really care. You might like some parts of it, so you, like, look at it every now and then. Or just watch your favorite scenes. Like for me, for Endgame, for example, I watch the beginning of Endgame, and then I just zone out until the end. Because the middle part of Endgame is really boring. It's really draggy. I don't think it held much attention for me. And then last is Eichiro tier, which is dog shit. Because Eichiro is the worst character ever, and this movie proves that. And we're going to get into that in a second. So, without further ado, let's get into the movie. Let's explore the title. What does 3D2Y mean? If you're caught up in One Piece, or let's say, well, you know what that means, but if you're not caught up in One Piece, if you're just starting, or if you are a non-One Piece watcher and you're just watching the movies, 3D2Y is because on after Marineford War, because this is about Ace's death. This movie's about grief, and you're trying to get over it, and like finding positive ways to get over it. But so yes, Ace died, and before that, the Straw Hats all got separated on Seabody Archipelago, and Luffy had told them, "Hey, let's meet up in 3 days. Meet back here in 3 days," because they got attacked by Marine Admirals, they got attacked by pacifistas, they got attacked by Sentomaru. It was chaos on Sabayati Archipelago. And after Ace died, Luffy realized there are way stronger pirates out there. We are not ready for the new world. So there is the Grand Line. There is, they call it the New World. Whenever you cross the Red Line, which is where they're going to, you enter the New World. And the New World is filled with powerful pirates, which they saw on Sabayati Archipelago. And Luffy knows he's not ready to face Marine Admirals because he took on Aokiji, Akainu, and Barcelona at once, and he couldn't damage them. You'll see that in the beginning of the movie, too. So, 3D2Y is because Luffy went back to Marineford after the war was over, held up his hat, and he had a secret message on his arm. Kind of like this. It didn't say this, but it was 3D, 2Y. 3D is crossed out and 2Y. 2Y means meet back here in 2 years. And instead of 3 days, meet back in 2 years. And so that's the meaning of 3D, 2Y. So when the movie opens up, we are actually start out with the flashback of the highlights of Marineford War. Like Ace dying, Luffy being unable to save him, Luffy being unable to stop the Marines, Luffy knocking out his grandfather Gorp, which Gorp took a fall. We know that now because we know how strong Gorp is. Gorp took a fall, which I already suspected anyway. But yes, this movie's about grief. And so after we learn about the execution of Ace, we find out that Luffy's in the middle of his training with Rayleigh. Like, Luffy has not mastered Haki. He's getting his butt whooped by the animals on this island. And Rayleigh's like, hey, you know, if you want to become stronger and go into New World and protect your friends from now on, you gotta get stronger. But Luffy's also still dealing with the grief of Ace. Like, he still can't get over it. So, how does this all accumulate to a movie? And you might think it's a movie about like a montage of Luffy having to train, but Oda's more creative than that. There's this pirate called Byrne World. World was captured by the world government 30 years ago and locked and impaled down. And he was such a dangerous pirate. He has the Mormor fruit. The Mormor fruit, basically, whatever he touches increases 100-fold. If he throws a cannonball, it grows 100 times its size. He can also use that. Sorry, guys. He can also use that ability on himself to increase his speed, to increase his strength 100-fold. Like, Byrne the World was a really strong pirate. And the only reason he was taken down is because the Marine government teamed up with pirates, as well as like putting CP0 agents and CP9 agents among his crew to pretend to, like, you know, kind of what they did in Marineford, where like Whitebeard got stabbed by one of his own men. They had like told these pirates, like, hey, we will let you off your sentences if you help us take down World, because World was that dangerous. He had got that reputation. This is before CC Prism Stone. This is before you know, they had ways to take down Devil Fruit users, kind of like in Film Z. It's kind of like that. And so they did take down World. And World felt like he was betrayed by his crew because World was the one taking the Empire down. His crew got away. And World was frozen for 30 years. Like, he was taken to a level, I think it's 5 or 4 of Empire Down, where they freeze your body. He was taken there. So he's been frozen. He has, that last thing he remembers is his crew leaving him behind, his crew betraying him. So World doesn't give a shit about his crew. He thinks all pirates are tools. And so you're probably wondering how Luffy's involved with this, because Luffy has nothing to do with that, right? Do you remember when Luffy broke into Empire Down to save Ace? Well, this movie takes place in that timeline. World escaped when Luffy broke into Empire Down, all the way down to the prison to try to save his brother Ace. And you know, he broke out Buggy the Clown, he broke out Mr. 3, he broke out Mr. 2, he broke out Ivankov, he broke out a bunch of dangerous pirates. And he wasn't also the only one. Blackbeard was there. Blackbeard was going down there to recruit people. And we see that in a later movie as well. But we also knew Blackbeard was down there recruiting people for his team. He got the Ryu of the Rain. I think some other people too, like a giant. But yeah, Blackbeard was down there too. So both of them, we can say it's both of their fault why World broke out. And so now World is out, and the world government is like, hey, it took us infiltrating his crew to take World down last time. Now we're recruiting all 7 warlords of the sea to help us take him down. And we only see 3 of them. We see Buggy the Clown, who, yes, is a warlord of the sea. I know. I don't know how I forgot about that. Or maybe it wasn't even mentioned. It probably was mentioned, but I probably forgot about it. Boa Hancock and Hawkeye Mihawk, with a cameo from Perona, which is very hilarious later. But yes, so World and his crew, which are made up of Graham. I'll get into more about them later. Nightren and Sebastian. They're like his main crew members. They let World know, like, hey, the world government has these like 7 pirates that they employed, and they're coming after you, and they're like the most powerful pirates of their generation. And so World's like, okay, take me to one of these 7 warlords. Take me to the closest one. Well, the closest one happens to be Boa Hancock, who is on the same island or near it that Luffy's training on. So World infiltrates this island, and he's looking for Boa Hancock, but instead he comes across her sisters. Her sisters are on the island because they were delivering food for Luffy because, like, they know he's training for 2 years and they want to make sure he's fed because we know how Luffy likes to eat. We know how, like, these Shonen Jump characters like to eat and stuff like that. And so, World fights the sisters, and at first he's not even interested in them until till he realizes, like, hey, these are Boa Hancock's sisters. If I capture them, Boa Hancock will come to me. One of the 7 warlords will come to me, and I'll be able to take one of them down. Well, Luffy's on the island, and Luffy's not going to let Boa Hancock's sisters be taken. So Luffy tries to fight him, but Luffy hasn't mastered Haki. So even though he tries to fight World, he can't do anything because World has mastered Haki. World has mastered Haki so much, he can turn his whole body into armored Haki. We have never seen that in One Piece at all outside of this movie. Well, I think we have. It was that one guy that Trafalgar Law fights in Punk Hazard. He can turn his whole body into armored Haki too. So this is the second time. And for some reason, this is the third movie that came out. Film Z came out second theatrically. This one didn't get a theatrical release, but it is third in, like, what I consider the canon movies. Although I would have pushed this, the way to watch this movie, I would say watch it directly after watch it in between them leaving CBID Archipelago on their way to Fishman Island. I'm going to get into the reason why in a second. Because let me just explain it. The end of the movie is a teaser of all the Straw Hats joining together on the ship. So I wouldn't say watch it pre-time skip. I would say watch it post them leaving Sabi Archipelago. That's probably the perfect place to watch this movie. So Luffy tries to fight World. He gets defeated, and World escapes with Boa's sisters. So in this movie, instead of having the Straw Hats with Luffy, we have Luffy and Boa teaming up, and then later Buggy the Clown in a hilarious way, because, like I said, the 7 warlords have teamed up to try to take down World, but only 3 of them show up. So that's the story of the movie. There's more to it, and we're going to get into it right now. Oh, guys, I want to explain a little bit more about World's backstory. So World and his brother Bojack were like these kids on this island, and they just wanted to explore the world. They wanted to leave their village and just, like, see what else was out there. And so Bojack was sick since he was born. He was born sick, and his brother was always healthy. And so his brother, Bojack's like, hey, you should go out there and see the world. Don't worry about me. Just leave me here. But World was like, no, you're my older brother. Even though he's shorter, he's a shorter older brother and older. And then, like, Bojack is, like, a little bit younger. But anyways, he was like, I'm going to be your strength. Just stick with me, and I'll protect you. And so we see, like, the first time they go on an adventure together, it's, like, about the same age Luffy is. The first time they go on an adventure, they run into pirates. These pirates attack them for no reason. Well, we know how pirates are, normal pirates are. But Bojack is so strong, he takes out all these pirates. Like, every pirate that ever challenges them, Bojack takes them down. World takes them down. And Bojack's like, hey, World, this isn't what we do. We're just here to explore the world. But Bojack, I keep calling him, mixing their names. But Biren, that's why I call him World, because his name's Biren. The World is like, look, these guys want to fight us, we're going to gather a crew, and we can still explore the world, but there are powerful enemies out here. So World and Bojack gather a crew of Grimm, Sebastian, and Nightrin. Those are their first members of their crew. And, I'm trying to think. They battle other pirates. Like, the World starts getting a reputation among pirates, like how strong this guy is. Like, World fights these pirates himself. And at one point, because World is so dangerous, they kidnap his sick brother, Bojack. And so World goes after these pirates and his crew, and I think Bojack basically takes them all down, and he puts his brother on his shoulders. So now Bojack's like, World, stop calling him Bojack. Just if I say Bojack being strong, just know it's World, because, again, I'm getting names mixed up. But he puts Bojack on his shoulders, because Bojack, like I said, he's weak. He's a weaker older brother. And basically, World is like, hey, as long as you stick next to me, I can protect you. I'm strong enough to protect you from everybody. And World gets this because his reputation is so known so well, he eventually catches the attention of the world government. And now the world government's coming after him, and he's given his first bounty. And so now World is an official dangerous pirate. The world government is calling him the Destroyer of Worlds. Biren, the Destroyer of Worlds. And so Yeah. So that's why the world government like put those pirates among his crew to like take World down because he was so dangerous with his more power. And so World's ultimate plan is, now that he's escaped, is to use this cannon with this 100 power to destroy Marios and basically bomb the Celestial Dragon's home, the capital of Marineford. That's his ultimate plan. So yeah, now we'll move on to the other stuff.
Pops. My family. And you, Luffy. Thank you for caring about someone like me who's good for nothing. This world never wanted, who has such bad blood in his veins. Thank you. For loving.
Ace.
So as I said, this movie is about grieving, and it's about grieving, and there's a lot of sibling symmetry in here. And so let's break down the villains, and then we can get into more about like what I thought about the story, what was entertaining about it, and what are some epic highlights. So we're obviously going to start with our big bad villain, Beer in the World. Beer in the World is designed like a Viking. It's like a real cool take on a Viking. He's huge. Like, he's not as big as a giant, but like he's bigger than the average human, and he has the Mormor fruit. Basically, with the Mormor fruit, you can multiply your body to move 100 times faster, or up to 100 times faster. Make your strength 100 times faster. Make objects and things you touch 100 times bigger or stronger. Like at one point, he picks up a cannonball, throws it, and it becomes huge, like asteroid size. He makes this cannon, which is his ultimate plan, like 100 times bigger. He can even make something like small as rocks. They'll stay small, but they'll have the damage of like 100 times stronger. It's very creative how Oda uses this more power. And he has this obsession with time. Like, so he'll give his crew, like, he's like, you have 2 minutes to take down this, like, military battalion, and if they can't do it in 2 minutes, he's like disappointed. He's like, let me show you how I do it. He says, I'm gonna do it in 30 seconds. He does it. And then like at one point when he's fighting Luffy, he's like, I'm gonna beat you in 30 seconds, and he doesn't. It's during their third fight. He's like, oh, I was off slightly, just 10 more seconds. And he has this obsession because he wants his crew to be quick and efficient, because this guy, like I said, it took the Marines teaming up with pirates and CP0, infiltrating them among his crew, making them turn on World just to defeat this guy that they called the Destroyer of Worlds. But again, this was before Sea Prism Stone, because we know if they had Sea Prism Stone back then 30 years ago, they would easily just took this guy down, put some Sea Prism Stone on him. Bada bing, bada boom. But we also know that didn't exist because of film Z, because that's why Zed got the big arm. So it kind of ties in together. Let me check my notes, see if I had anything else to say about this guy. Oh yeah, he's ruthless towards his crew. Like, if you fail him, he will kill you. Just like Shiki, when Shiki's like, scientists couldn't predict, or his navigators couldn't predict the weather and storms, he killed him. This guy will kill you for disappointing him. And that includes even his brother. Everybody is disposable to him. The reason why he thinks that is because when he got captured by the world government, his brother, Bojack, his 3 best men, Sebastian the Fishman, Nightin or Nightren, the ship doctor, and what's this guy's name? Grimham, who's the cube guy, they all left him. They all abandoned him. And it wasn't because, like, they wanted to, like, you know, like, world is gonna be captured, let's run. It was more like, hey, we gotta escape. World is down. They thought he was dead. It's kind of ambiguous. I guess they thought he was dead. But, like, they still escaped, and World just thinks they abandoned him. Plus, he was impaled down, locked away for 30 years. They not once tried to go after him. And you'll learn when I get to Bojack, like, his personality and why he maybe they left him. But that's why Beer in the World kind of like hates his own crew and willing to sacrifice all of them. Let me see if I have anything else about him. Oh yeah, like I said, also like he can do full body armament Haki, like that guy Trafalgar Law beats on Prunk Hazard, which is the only 2 times we've seen somebody do a full body armament Haki. I think that's all that really got to say about World himself. Yeah, so let's get into Bojack. Bojack is the shorter one who's like always been sick his entire life, and like I said, one point when he got captured, Beer in the World put him on his shoulders. His older brother, he was like, "Hey, you stay up here. I'll protect you. I'm strong enough to take on everybody." Bojack's personality is way different than Beer in the World. Whereas Beer in the World wants to like destroy the Celestial Dragons, destroy the Marines' capital city, like just take them down. Bojack is like, we started this just to like want to explore the world. We didn't start this to become pirates. We didn't start this to start wars with people. We started this just to sail the oceans, just to leave our homeland. Bojack is a very simple character. As far as I can tell, he doesn't have devil fruit powers, and as far as I can tell, he doesn't have like any special traits. He just kind of like is the older brother, kind of like the reason to World World, because in his defense, he was frozen for 30 years in Impro Down. He was frozen on level 4. So he didn't get to live those 30 years thinking about, like, maybe they didn't betray me. Maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Maybe I should just let it all go after I escaped. No, he got frozen immediately after he got to Impro Down. So for 30 years, that's all he's been focused on. Whereas, like, Bojack, who's been free for 30 years, and yeah, he didn't go save his brother, whether he thought he was dead or whether he thought, like, we can't go against the world government, we'll just all get captured and destroyed. Bojack just wanted that simple life, man. He just wanted to be free. And let me see if I have anything else to say about him. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about Bojack. And I liked it. It's okay to have a simple character when you have this, like, character hell-bent on destroying everything, and then you have his opposite being, like, a brother, father figure, lover, whatever, being the opposite, like, hey, let's just you're already free. Let's just go. We don't have to fight the world. You get that. It's a good dynamic. Now let's get into Night 10. Night 10 is the medical ship doctor. I like her design. She starts, when we meet her, she's this old lady with like this long coat, like it's like hangs over her arms and drips. And she has, I think she called it medical Kempo, where she is like, she mixes like poisons and medicines while she's like fighting with kicks and punches. It's very funny. She has a great fight later. Let me just get into it. So one of the fights that Night 10 has is against Boa Hancock. This fight is filled with fan service. For one, she takes this medicine that makes her all young and slim, and she's trying to call Boa Hancock, who is the most beautiful character in the One Piece universe. She tries to call her like, you're not that beautiful. And then as they're fighting, like, Boa Hancock, and I love the way they display all her powers, like Boa Hancock's love ability. So if you're not caught up in One Piece, the love ability is kind of like Medusa. Like, whoever sees you, it's not that they fall in love with you because she's already naturally beautiful, but like, because you're mesmerized by her beauty, she can turn you into stone if you look at her. Or like shoot you with like arrows of hearts and kisses of hearts and turn you into stone. It's basically Medusa's power. And she resembles, like, she has like snakes around her and like a snake pet and all that. She definitely resembles Medusa. But anyways, her and Boa Hancock are having this like very fan servicey fight where like at one point she burns Boa Hancock's clothes and it starts like almost revealing her basically butt naked. And the way that Boa Hancock beats her, because the woman, because the beauty is working on Night 10, except she keeps like taking like this medicine that she calls nasty and bitter. She's like, oh, as long as I keep eating this nasty medicine, your like sexiness has no effect on me. And then because Boa Hancock's attacks aren't working because she keeps blocking them with like these like medicine spells and all that, Night 10 tries to go into attack, and that's when Boa Hancock goes, are you really gonna hurt me? Like, she does like this whole cute thing, and then all of a sudden like the old lady's eyes start popping out of her head, like she's like stodgy all of a sudden, and she gets defeated because she's like, at some point Boa Hancock like flirts with her or something, and then she's like, God damn, you're hot. Like, she just comes out and says it. and Boa Hancock freezes, like turns into stone right there. That was the most goofy thing I've ever seen, but it made me laugh so much. It was very good. That's the second major fight in the movie. Let's get down to who's the next person. Graham. Okay, Graham has the cube fruit. So basically, whatever he hits with this giant hammer, which is ironically shaped like a cube, everything turns to a cube, and he can like hit the like. It's more than like just hitting them, but like he can turn everything into cubes. Like say like you're on a ship, he can turn those cubes, the ship into like cube blocks, and they'll separate. Or he can physically compress air into a cube and then use that to hit you with it, like focused cubes of air. It was very creative. His design kind of reminds me of Eggman, sort of. Like, he looked kind of like, he gives me Eggman. I'm not sure what his role is on the crew, but I did like his power. He ends up fighting Luffy and takes Luffy down pretty easily, but because Luffy's a rubber man, like, at one point, like, he, like, cubes up this part of the ship and, like, slams Luffy into the wall. And Luffy would have died from suffocation, not because he got crushed. Normal humans would have died from getting crushed, but because if he's a rubber man, he just turns flat. And so Graham's like, that's interesting. But the best part is, Luffy is not even the one that takes him down. He ends up fighting Buggy the Clown. And I knew automatically that Chop Fruit versus the Cube Fruit was going to be, like, a really creative fight. So he does turn Buggy into a cube. But then when he tries to crush Buggy, Buggy does chop, and like all his like cube parts separate. And he's like, okay, well, I'll just break apart your pieces. And it's a clever callback to when Buggy the Clown was first defeated. Because as he's like knocking parts of Buggy away, when Buggy tries to come back together, he's like short, like how Luffy is when he has Gear Third, and like how Buggy was when he first got beat by Luffy. It's a very, very clever little fight thing they did. And in the end, we get the buggy ball comes back, or muggy ball. I think it's the buggy ball. The buggy ball where like it's like a tiny ball and it shoots out. And I knew that wasn't going to defeat him because Buggy the Clown, even though he's a warlord of the sea, if you guys are caught up to One Piece at this point, Buggy the Clown has always just been lucky. He's just in the right place at the right time. And he fires the buggy ball and creates a smoke screen because the guy Graham hits it with this square hammer, and it exposes the smoke screen. It doesn't even damage him. But during the smoke screen, Boa Hancock comes out. This is the third fight of the movie. Boa Hancock comes out. She kicks the guy because she's looking for Luffy. She's like, "Where is Luffy?" And it turns into half the stone. And Buggy the Clown sees this. And as the smoke fades away, Boa Hancock like races out to find Luffy. And his crew, which are filled with criminals from Impound Down, think Buggy the Clown beat him. They're like, "Oh my God, Captain Buggy's so strong." And Buggy's like, "Yes, it was me." And Mr. 3 and the lion tamer and Kaiju, the unicycle guy that fought Zoro, they're all like, we know Buggy didn't do that, but hey, it keeps working out for Buggy, so let's cheer Buggy on. It is hilarious. And I have something super important to say at the end of this about Buggy the Clown. I have something super important that I know I figured out. For that, though, let's talk about the last member of the crew, which is Sebastian. Sebastian is a giant fish man who is blind. And we find it out because Boa Hancock's trying to use her love ability on him. And there's this joke. I thought she was going to say, is he gay? But she says, like, there's nobody in the world that doesn't find women at least somewhat attractive. And he, like, pulls off his glasses. He's like, "Sorry, honey." Or not honey, but he's like, "Sorry, it's not that you're not beautiful. I'm blind." I thought it was really creative because Boa Hancock would have easily took him down. And it's a very creative fight. Luffy and Boa Hancock fighting them together. Luffy does manage to beat him with Gear Third, but Sebastian's not down in that fight. And then Perona shows up, and that's when we get the Mihawk Perona like cameo. They're the only three warlords that show up: Buggy the Clown, Boa Hancock, Buggy the Clown, and Mihawk are the only three warlords that show up in the movie. I'm not sure if he was trying to save the other four warlords, but those are the three that show up. But anyways, Perona takes him down and uses a ghost, and she's like, "Oh, you look cool. I want to capture you." The moment he starts like doing all his depressed talk, so Perona has these negative ghosts. That's her power. And when the negative ghosts go through you, it's called Hollow. It makes you feel like the most negative thoughts ever. And she was defeated by Usopp, who is super negative. And that's Perona's weakness is Usopp. We're not gonna get into that. That's a thriller bark arc thing, but it's just hilarious that Perona showed up. And so yeah, those are our villains. We have Bill in the World Destroyer, Bojack, the older brother who's sick, Night 10, the ship medical doctor, Greenham, the cube guy, and Sebastian, the giant fishman. So, as I said, the movie's about grieving. And so, as Luffy is going to fight... Well, okay, so everybody in this movie's got siblings. Bojack and Beer in the World. Boa Hancock and her sister is trying to get her sister back. And then Luffy with his brother who died because he's grieving over him. So, as Luffy fights Beeryn, every single time, the first 2 times Luffy fights Beeryn takes him down easily. Because one, Luffy can't hurt Beeryn because he hasn't mastered Haki. He hasn't mastered any form of Haki. So that's why I said it's like a training montage movie. So when he tries to hurt Beeryn, it doesn't do anything. And then the second time Luffy fights Beeryn, Luffy puts up a better fight, but Beeryn beats him down again because he starts talking about Ace. He's like, why are you fighting so hard to stop me? And Luffy's like, I have to save Boa Hancock's sisters. And he's like you said, your brother Ace. Bro, Beeryn was not holding back. That hits Luffy so hard, he keeps thinking about Ace. He can't stop thinking about his older brother. And Beeryn just uses that, don't even waste time. He uses that to take Luffy down. And then following that, we have their third fight where now, between Luffy getting knocked out the second time, Buggy the Clown's like smacking him awake because Luffy got taken down. He's like, hey, look, snap out of it. You're not gonna, you can't stop him if you stay here. And Luffy realizes like while he's in this daze is like, I might not be able to save everyone, but at least I can try. And if I try my best, then that's all that matters. But I'm always going to fight for my crew, always. Whereas Beer in the World is like willing to sacrifice everybody. He's like, oh, crew members are in the way. Friends are in the way. They'll all betray you. They'll leave you behind at the last minute. Or Luffy doesn't believe that. And we know that since Captain Kuro. When Captain Kuro was destroying his crew, Luffy got pissed. He said, how can you do that to your own crew? Luffy has always been about his crew, his friends. He always cares about them. And he cared about Ace, of course. Ace is his brother, man. And so this is the first time in canon Luffy uses Red Hawk. He didn't even realize he's doing it. He's doing Gum Pistol, Red Hawk, and as he's doing it, there's flashes of like all his friends, and then the final one is Ace, and he uses Red Hawk, and his fist lights on fire, and he looks down at his fist, he's like, that was fire like Ace's. And I thought it was really cute because that makes this movie canon to Luffy using Red Hawk the first time. Because the first time we see Red Hawk is on Fishman Island, which is the first arc, second arc after Sabiati Archipelago Part 2, or 2 years later. And I forget to mention in the beginning of the movie, the other reason that we know about grief is because it opens up with like everybody that ever had like a sad moment, like Zoro thinking about like how he's never gonna lose again, to Luffy helping him feel better, to Nami when she was crying about Arlong and Luffy destroying the Arlong Park, to Usopp not being able to defeat Captain Kuro and Luffy telling him to join his crew, to Sanji being sad about the All Blue because we're not at the Vinsmoke / Germa 6 yet, so that's what we have. Sanji feeling bad about like how Zeph did everything for him, but he wants to go find All Blue, and then Sanji joining the crew, to Brook being sad about Laboon and not being able to join the crew, but then later realizing that Laboon is safe, he's okay, he's waiting for Luffy, he can go with Luffy now, to Frankie, who I believe Frankie's thing was like the sea train and Tom the shipwright, and then Frankie joining the Straw Hats, to Robin like I want to live moment, to Robin with her sad backstory and leaving the crew, to like I want to live, to Chopper saying he can't join the crew because he's a monster, and Luffy being like shut up, come with us. It's about grief and how your friends help you get over it, how your friends can help you get through it, and how like even though there are bad times, better times will happen. And that's why I think this movie is going to get a very high score. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and jump into the rating right now.
100倍法道を開けろ俺がバンディワールドだ大変
the way this movie handles grief isn't iconic or brand new, but it is handled in a great way, especially following Ace's death. If you watch this post Sabayardi Archipelago Part 2, I think you would love it. The backstory between Bojack and Berian World is very wholesome. Like why they started out being pirates. The whole point of their ship being a submarine is just so they could hide from the world government so they wouldn't be attacked. Like that was Bojack's plan, but World wanted to add a cannon to that submarine ship so they could bomb Mariel's without being detected. World was so obsessed with revenge, whereas like Bojack's like, hey, you're free. We can be free again. And the way the movie ends, it is not a happy ending. I wish I could tell you that, or at least it's left ambiguous. But I don't know. But I'm gonna say I don't think. I'm gonna say it's a sad ending. Here's why. Let me put this out of the way. So the Marines are bombing the submarine. They're trying to sink it before World can use his cannon, because this is following the fight with Luffy and World, where Luffy beats him the third time with Red Hawk. Outside, Buggy the Clown is trying to wave down the world government like, hey, World's defeated. We got everything taken care of. There's no need to do anything. Aki is on that ship. They just show like half of his face just so you know who he is. Just so you know he's a piece of shit. And I said I was going to bring this up later. Aki sees one of the warlords. And mind you, he told all the warlords to come here. The world government is allied with the warlords. He says... one of the pirates is like, hey, Fleet Admiral, there's one of the warlords on the island. What should we do? He's like, bomb it. Immediately. He's like, bomb it. Akinu tried to kill Kobe. He's now tried to kill the warlords that are on his side. Akinu does not give a shit. Okay? He believes in his own sense of justice, and if you're in the way of that justice, you are going to be eliminated. So, Buggy kind of escapes, of course. That's not the sad part. But the sad part is that World tries to use this cannon. He does. He launches the cannon. It creates this massive cannonball that's flying towards the Fleet Admiral. He's like, if I can't destroy Marios, I can at least destroy the Admirals. Tell me why Hawkeye Mihawk, the only thing he does in this movie is jump up, cut that giant cannonball that's the size of an asteroid in half, and save the Marines. Hawkeye, why did you save Akino? Why did you save him? Let him die. I just kidding. Mihawk does whatever he wants. But it's left ambiguous because Bojack, after the cannonball attack fails, Bojack collapses from like exhaustion, or Berian collapses from exhaustion, and God, I'm mixing their names up. Oda, don't ever make their names this complicated or close together. Anyways, Berian World collapses from exhaustion from his fight with Luffy and then using his more powers on the cannon to fire the giant cannonball. And Bojack goes up to him. He says, hey, Berian, it's over. We lost. Let's just go back to the sea. And then the island explodes. I don't know if Oda was trying to tell me that they just died, like that's them going to the sea, or maybe they escaped. But it's not left that way. It's left ambiguous to make you believe that they died. And I do think they died, because at the end, there's this newspaper with World's face on it. We don't know what that newspaper says. It's not in English. But you know what is on there? Buggy the Clown's face. And you know what I think Oda was doing? Because, like I said, we never saw Buggy the Clown become a warlord. What we saw was Buggy the Clown become an emperor. I think on this newspaper, because their reactions, because of like Buggy the Clown's face on that newspaper, I think this movie canonized when Buggy the Clown became an Emperor of the Sea. Buggy the Clown has stayed. I said this in many videos about Buggy the Clown. I said this when Buggy the Clown became Emperor. Buggy the Clown has stayed relevant for too long, and he is one of the weakest pirates. But I love him. He is so fucking funny. Buggy the Clown is going to be on Laugh Tale. Buggy the Clown is going to see One Piece. Shanks is going to see One Piece. Blackbeard's going to see One Piece. The Straw Hats are going to see One Piece. It is going to be a massive battle. Maybe the world government might be there. Kobe, Gorp, Aokiji. We'll see. But I think it's going to be amazing. That is why, because of this ending, it is going in Monkey D. Luffy tier. I think fans are going to like this movie a lot. I don't think they're going to love it, but I think they're going to like it a lot where they watch it like every now and then. It's not gonna be one that you like God Who's Not Here where you watch it all the time, like maybe every day for a couple days. This is one that you will remember and you'll be like, hey, it's good. Fans will think it's okay, or non-fans will think it's okay, and that's okay. But One Piece fans, you're gonna like this movie a lot. Let me see if I have any other closing notes. Oh, the movie ends with Luffy concluding his training, and we get a montage of all the Straw Hats arriving at the Sunny on Sabiato Archipelago, and Luffy saying, all right, guys, let's go. This is the in-between time skip movie. This is post, immediately after Sabiato Archipelago, on our way to Fishman Island 2 years later. Watch this movie either at the film if you want to, but really watch this movie after Fishman Island or before Fishman Island, like getting there immediately. Other than that, I think the movie's great. We're going to wrap it up here. This video has been pretty long. And again, if you guys are grieving, if you find any sadness, always reach out to your friends and family. There will be bad times, but there will be even more better times after that. That's from Eichiro Oda. He said it way better than that. I just kind of cliff noted it, but it was a really great movie. I loved it. Thank you, Oda.